Well, it has happened again. It just keeps happening. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum forced to come out and rebuke President-elect Donald Trump, which is a bad pre-start, since we haven't even started Trump's presidency, start to his presidency. And this relates to a few different things. I'll give you the latest example, then we'll walk through the very short history, but already strife-filled history between Mexican President Sheinbaum and Trump. And it shows you, well, I'll get into that later. I'll tell you what it shows you as we go through the segment. If you appreciate this show, please do click the subscribe button. Here's the latest example of them clashing. This is over Trump's threat to take back the Panama Canal.
Ahora, ayer también se refirió al tema de Panamá y ahí sí nuestra solidaridad con el presidente de Panamá, que salió muy rápidamente a decir el canal de Panamá es de los panameños, y en efecto el canal de Panamá es de los panameños. Entonces ahí sí nuestra solidaridad, nuestro apoyo al presidente de Panamá, al pueblo de Panamá.
Because we're being ripped off.
All right, so let me just quickly say what was said for our podcast listeners. She said, now yesterday, Donald Trump also referred to the issue of Panama. Regarding that, we extend our solidarity with the president of Panama, who came out very quickly to say that the Panama Canal belongs to the Panamanians, and indeed the Panama Canal belongs to the Panamanians. So our solidarity, our support to the president of Panama, to the people of Panama. And let me walk through the past examples, then I'll give my take on this. But in short, demonizing countries that we normally are supposed to get along with, this much, accomplishing nothing before you even take office, is that master negotiating status that MAGA has told us so much about. Trump tried to, because he saw how bad this was going with the tariff threats, claimed that he solved everything, and Mexican President Sheinbaum had given him a bunch of concessions, and then she came out and said, what are you talking about? That's not what happened. And since then, we haven't heard much else about these amazing concessions Trump was supposed to have gotten from Mexico. Instead, it looks like we're about to be launched into who knows what diplomatically with Panama. But definitely, we know Mexico and Canada are getting prepared to engage in a full-on trade war, as we'll discuss more after this.
She sent to President-elect Donald Trump. She said, quote, President Trump, neither threats nor tariffs will solve the issue of migration or drug consumption in the United States. Cooperation and shared understandings are required to face these important challenges. Imposing one tariff would mean another comes in response. I'm going to read that one more time because these are very important words from Mexico's president. Imposing one tariff would mean another comes in response, continuing like this until we put shared companies at risk. Now, the tone of this letter is very important because Mexico's president is not just talking about tariffs, about economic and the economic relationship with the United States, but also the border relationship with the United States, because Mexico has done a lot to help the Biden administration control the migration that is coming into the U.S. southern border, which begs the question about what is happening on the U.S. southern border.
Yeah, so some of the plummet in border crossing numbers that we've seen in recent months has been in part something you can credit cooperation with Mexico for. So them backing away from coordination and cooperation there and saying we're going to respond in kind until both of our countries are suffering badly economically, to me doesn't seem like master negotiating, but maybe I'm missing something. What it seems like is, because this is what politicians mostly act in accordance with, President Sheinbaum sees an appetite among her electorate to respond not by bending the knee to Trump, but even if this causes huge economic ramifications, standing up to him, which means, put simply, means bad, okay, for us. As this happens, and then we start doing it with Canada too, we start doing it with China too, and all three of our top trading partners, we're just having a trade war with. Not to mention randomly threatening Panama. Not to mention randomly saying we just might have to grab Greenland, as Trump did. You actually, unlike what MAGA believes, halt progress on so many things, like progress we've made with Mexico. Because all of a sudden it becomes politically advantageous for those leaders to respond with animosity, to demonize us as a partner. And that only causes negative, especially economic ramifications, because Trump's not saying, hey, I will do this unless you give me this rational concession. It was just sort of a, hey, border, you do border stuff. And President Sheinbaum was saying, we're kind of over here trying, and we could have more productive discussions without Trump saying, I will do the tariff thing in reaction to stuff that I think that you're going to. That's the weird part too. Normally when you make a threat, it's do this or I'll do this. But for him, it was, I'm just going to do this. And hey, also you should give me concessions. Very strange. Very, very strange. This headline, Mexico leader responds to Trump claims she agreed to stop migration. And this was the reaction I told you about, where she just kind of said, I don't think the call went the way that Trump thought. And that brings me back to what I think is going on, which is that Trump talked about on the campaign trail, how beautiful of a word, so beautiful. The word tariff is even more beautiful than love, he would say. And he promised these big, massive tariffs that would cripple other countries' economies and would magically solve all of our problems here. Not targeted strategic tariffs on a certain sector for national security, supply chain reasons, but across the board, top three trading partners, most economically irrational choice type tariffs. Okay, we're going to do that. It's going to be great. I'll even do 200%. Who cares? We're doing 25%. Now that's just the beginning, Trump said. So now he's in a corner, and he either genuinely believes that, I know I've completely shifted from the Panama issue because I don't even know what to make. What is he even talking about there? What does he want? He said there's Chinese soldiers controlling the Panama Canal. That's not true. I don't know what he's talking about. So that's kind of hard to comprehensively address, but at least the tariff stuff is an actual policy that he's outlined. So it's easier to walk through in terms of his presence on the world stage even before taking office. And it seems like he either believes his own BS, smelling his own you know what, and he's going to do it, and we're going to suffer the repercussions. And that will be disastrous. Or he's had it explained, sort of like how we talked about a different segment. He was clearly taught the importance by whoever, maybe Elon Musk, of lawful immigration. And so he's on the record saying something that's making his followers really upset, which is, I think we should have lawful immigration. And if you come and you are producing innovation or you're working in the country, and we should support you being here more permanently. And similar to that, maybe someone got to him and explained how his tariff proposals aren't going to do what he thinks they're going to do, and they'll spike prices, and we'll get into a trade war, and probably we're not exactly going to win that trade war. And so he's needing to prove to his base that he can beat his chest and prove that he wasn't just saying random stuff. But then, and this gets us all the way back to him saying that the call with President Sheinbaum was so successful, and her saying, not really. He's trying to set himself up to walk back the tariff proposal. If he can pretend like he got what he needed from Canada and Mexico, I don't know how he's going to pretend like he got what he needed from China, but we'll see. If he can pretend with the Panama example that we don't have to take it over now because they did everything I wanted, regardless of if there's any facts to back that up, then maybe that gives him the justification he needs to not do the thing that he threatened. And then he'll say, see, my threats are proof of my master negotiating skills because I just made a threat and got what I wanted. But in reality, he's not actually getting what he said that he wanted. He might get meaningless tributes to his goal. But just like that call with Sheinbaum, often we're going to learn that he actually got nothing. And he's just enjoying, what's the phrase about showing off your feathers? Or I use the beating your chest example. He's enjoying being the big boy and his followers thinking he's a big boy who's doing big boy negotiations. I don't buy it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Support the show. Get the members only bonus show by clicking that join button below.